Today you're gonna learn how to do tints, tones, and shades. You're gonna get some white, you're gonna get some black, and you're gonna choose one of the primary colors. And once you get all of that paint on your paint palette, grab a paintbrush, and you also need to fill a brush basin with some water. Don't overfill it because it's gonna be a mess. So after you get that all filled, you are going to get a white sheet of paper and you're gonna write on there, tint equals color plus white, tone equals color plus gray, shade equals color plus black. I'm drawing 11 boxes so that you can really practice trying to get all of the different tints, tones, and shades and everything in between. So first, I'm gonna put red in the first box in each row because we're gonna start with red. And then I cleaned the brush and I'm drying it. I'm gonna get white painted on that first one. I'm gonna scoop some white over, mix in a little dot of black to make some gray. And then I realized, it's a little bit too light. So I added a little bit more black. But you really do not need very much black. It is very overpowering and very highly pigmented. So then each box will start with red and then it will end with white, gray, and black. So then now I'm taking red and I scooped it over and I mixed a little bit of white in it. And then I painted it. And then I'm going to mix in a little bit more white and then I'll paint that. And then I'm gonna mix in a little bit more white and then I'll paint that. And then I'm gonna mix in a little bit more white and I'll paint that. Mix in a little bit more white. I had a little bit too much, so I had to scoop it off. And then I'm just, each time, adding a little bit more white. And as you can see, it is gradually getting lighter because you want it to go from red to white and then have all of the tints in between. And then I am going to take the brush and I'm going to clean it, and I'm realizing, hey, some of these are a little bit too similar. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the colors that I actually need to fix that. So I'm going to make it a little bit more dramatic and get a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, because at first a lot of those reds were just way too similar. So now that I have that fixed, now I will be mixing the gray with the red. So I'm scooping some red over here and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of gray and I'll paint it, mix it with a little bit more gray, paint that, mix it with a little bit more gray, paint that. And then I'll mix it with a little bit more gray and I'll paint that. And then you just keep doing that. You're just gonna keep mixing it with a little bit more gray, a little bit more gray, a little bit more gray. And it's going to start looking pretty gray, pretty fast right here, but I promise you there's a little bit of red still in all of those. And then now I'm gonna scoop some red and mix in a little bit of black, a little more black, paint it, a little bit more black, paint it, a little bit more black, paint it, a little bit more black, paint it. And on video it looks very, very dark, like it goes to black right on that fourth one, but I promise you that it doesn't go straight to black. And so then when you have all of that done, then you're gonna clean your brush and you're gonna take a paper towel and clean out the paint palette. Do not dump paint down the sink. Acrylic paint is literally plastic, and when it dries, it will clog the drains and it will just collect so much just bacteria and it will smell horrible. So then once you get most of it off, you'll throw it in the trash and then you will rinse it in the sink. I don't care if it's your paint palette that you made, a ceramic paint palette, a plastic paint palette. You need to make sure you're getting all of the paint off. So that's why I'm using the sponge here. And if you need to use a smaller sponge or just use your fingers, but you need to get all of the paint off. And I'm putting it on the drying rack. And then I'm gonna grab the brush basin and the paintbrush, and I'm gonna clean the paintbrush. When I put it in the paintbrush container, you need to make sure the bristles are facing up. Do not put the bristles facing down in the cup because you'll ruin the paintbrush. So then I have everything clean, and then I saw somebody did not clean all of those paint palettes. They just left dirty paint palettes on that table. So since I saw that, I'm cleaning them off. So if you see that, you also need to help me out and clean them off, okay? Please do not leave any paint in paint palettes. And if there are large clumps of paint left in the paint palette, you need to get a paper towel and scoop out the paint. So this is what it should look like.